Yes people, what is good? I am BA, back once again with another reaction in the Fargo series. This is episode 3 of season 3 and it is called The Law of Non-Contradictions. Last episode. Absolutely tragic. We saw that both Ewan McGregor's did deep down have this element to them where they just wish they could reconcile, and because of the other people in their lives it's just way more complicated and seemingly never going to happen. We've got the lawyer mustache guy on Rich Ewan McGregor's side, who is very, very firm in him not wanting to part with the stamp or have any sort of relationship with Ray, really. And when I was watching it, the first time, I just assumed it was greed, but I have been re-watching these episodes as well, and maybe he just fucking loves Ewan McGregor like that. Maybe he genuinely thinks that Ray is bad for Rich Ewan McGregor, and he's just looking out for him and he's loyal to him like that. But a part of me still thinks he could just be doing this for sheer greed, and part of me also still thinks it could have been directly either his fault or his doing that VM Fargo was able to get into Rich Ewan McGregor's company through the back door. And wow, did things pick up with VM Fargo. The instant that character came on the screen in episode 1, I was glued to that character. Characters like that just transfix me to the screen. I absolutely love them, especially when they're acted and written brilliantly. And yeah, first of all, that lawyer that Rich Ewan McGregor and his lawyer friend got to look for information on him was instantly killed just for googling his name and then clicking the button. Now obviously that's his bad for clicking the button. Me, you and everybody else knew that shit was a fucking virus, but of course we didn't know how instantaneously terrifying of a virus it was, because it literally turned on the webcam, photograph, screen blank, done. And then from there, later on in the episode, he gets approached by those two guys in a parking lot who have clearly been instructed to kill him. Boom, off the balcony, dealt with. And then in the later scenes we see Varga not only move those two assassins into Rich Ewan McGregor's building in the new wing they've just had built just for VM Varga's crew. So those guys are literally around Ewan McGregor if they need to kill him 24/7, and on top of that, Varga just further explained his plan, how trapped they were, his plans for expansion using their business. He said they would become billionaires on paper at least. I don't know whether that's a good thing or that's like going to guarantee them jail time in the future, but bottom line is, as he said, they are trapped. So yeah, I absolutely love this season so far. Seriously, if this season stopped in these first 2 episodes, I would have to say so far it's like one of the most gripping seasons at anything straight away for me that I've seen. I genuinely mean that, and it's just a combination of the cast being interesting to me, like the whole ensemble cast. It's a well-cast ensemble cast, but also Noah Hawley's writing has captured my attention. And if you look at my other reactions, I do have a habit of focusing on the writers. When I watch Black Mirror, I'm always talking about Charlie Brooker. And yeah, Noah Hawley's writing is just top tier. So I guess the other thing that's just making this pop for me so much is the situation. I'm sure it's not even, a unique one. This premise intrinsically is just, two siblings fighting over the riches, which is not an uncommon theme in literature, but it's all the added elements and layers to it and the acting performances, and then on top of that we haven't even mentioned the Fargo stylism of it, which really enhances the material too. So all those in the melting pot, I'm absolutely gripped after 2 episodes. People said this was a dip from seasons 1 and 2, not so far, not for me at least, so I just hope it keeps on this trajectory, and wow, this will be 3 banging seasons in a row. So without further ado, this is episode 3 of season 3, The Law of Non-Contradictions. Let's check it out and see what it's saying to it.
You going by the autopsy later?
They glued his nose and mouth shut. Are we thinking cause of death is somehow a cliffhanger?
He glued his nose and mouth shut? What the fuck? How did I miss that piece of dialogue before? Maurice, you fucking scumbag. You Russian-seeming piece of shit.
Wait, could I get it?
Hakeem.
Congratulations on your incredibly phallic award there, my friend.
Whatever this big swinging dick over here is drinking.
Oh, no, I just wanted to...
He wasn't talking to you, he was talking to your trophy.
How about a nice cream soda for my new amigo Thaddeus over here?
Oh, this is Thaddeus, so is this a flashback? Also, that makes sense, the silver dick is, a sci-fi novelist sort of award. The classic 50s nuclear atomic rocket shape.
Mr. Zimmerman, Mr. Mobley! Hold up the dingus for me and say UFO!
There's never been a journalist waiting outside of a venue ever to photograph a science fiction writer award winner.
Hey kid, over here.
I do not trust this movie producer one bit.
You like? Doll. Come back, I want you to meet somebody.
Wow, that's a power play. Like that woman on the screen? She's right in front of you.
Can we go eat already?
All right, sure, just give me a sec, sweetie, sit down.
Okay, so I just thought he had this level of power. She seems like she's being coerced into this meeting.
Kid, I got you covered, totally. Just make sure you keep all your receipts.
Right, so this is the script writing process. So the producer's keeping him in the area while he turns his book into a screenplay.
The kid is banging out the screenplay now as we speak. So listen, is your blonde's gonna let you out?
Typical science fiction writer, not the smoothest with the females. I mean, I'm not dissing him. For all his good points, I bet the first time George R.R. Martin made a woman achieve orgasm was when he wrote about it. Oh, she's folding the legs inwards. A subtle but very tyrannical move. Why the fuck is he just writing out check after check now? Well, at least for the time being, he got the woman he was interested in.
It makes the sex amazing.
Something I ain't never done and ain't never gonna do. Do not need it whatsoever. Sex is already amazing. Also, this ain't how you're gonna get to the top of the sci-fi novelist game, Thaddeus. You need to kick these thoughts the fuck out and get to typewriting out here, mate. These big giant green-headed aliens with hearts of gold don't write themselves, motherfucker. Get to work! Oh no. And just like that, developing a habit. So there was this planet, and the edges of the atmosphere made it just like this giant coke rock. Yeah, the biggest coke rock you've ever seen. Okay, the first line was a bit less pro-coke than I assumed, but I'm sure he does a deep dive into that during chapter 2. Alright with your Monty Python and the Holy Grail graphics cards.
I'm dying. I need...
Sorry, did I put on Fargo?
You must find a way to get word back.
Is that Ewan McGregor doing that voice?
I can help.
Don't know if that had quite the effect you thought it would, did it, E.T.?
This is my 6th flight this week.
Isn't it Tuesday?
I'm so deathly silent during this scene for the reason that typically in the first 2 seasons of Fargo, when we cut to a random character or a random scenario like we just saw with the cartoon planet with the alien and the astronaut, it's generally like a really interesting life parable or something like that, you know, like the story last season about the man that gave all his wealth away, you know, and still couldn't do enough. It was completely out of context of the actual story being told, but it was a brilliant scene that enhanced everything around it, even though it had nothing to do with any of it. Other than, you know, the morality could be translated to certain characters throughout the story in a certain way, but that's an incredibly loose reason to have that entire scene in the show. And it became one of my favourite scenes of season 2. Always think about that scene. I actually think about that scene maybe more than any other scene in season 2.
Are you here for the convention of Santa Claus?
No, I'm not.
By the hour then, or...
What?
Nothing.
By the hour? What did he mean by that? Is this some sort of side hustle he's got going on at this hotel?
What the heck? Stop!
Holy shit! A second Santa just came up and jacked her travel bag. Where is this woman staying? Some hub of theft and prostitution? Jesus Christ, pay the extra $20 and get yourself in the city centre, bitch.
Green pants. Green, what do you, elf pants?
Yeah, to sound less weird, you could have led with he was dressed like a Santa Claus lookalike because they were all dressed like Santa lookalikes. If you just start from the bottom up, you're gonna sound like a crazy lady. Yeah, he had these curled shoes with bells on the end, and then past the ankle line, we're talking some green felt material, leading up to a beautiful red belt with a gold buckle, red and white stripes like candy canes. Cop just standing there like, miss, you're describing a rainbow. Who the fuck is that? Why do I get the feeling it's just a pair of shoes? Oh, it was just a pair of shoes. Hilarious, unnecessary bit of tension, but it led to her discovering a strange box, so let's go with it. Oh, that's one of them boxes where the hand comes out and flicks the switch off for you. I've seen these things on YouTube a dozen times, they're awesome. I want an annoying box. They've took it above and beyond a lot of the videos I've seen with the green and red LED system. If anything, I think it makes it a bit too theme parky at that point and a little over the top. So, you know, dial back your ingenuity a bit and learn from the originators, bitch.
Dale got me an Xbox.
That was gonna be your Christmas present.
I know, but he said sometimes it's good to have an everyday present.
Oi, that's a fucking good quote when it comes to Xboxes. Anytime one of you guys feel like I deserve an everyday present, Xbox me the fuck up. It doesn't even need to be boxed, nor passed. Hurl it at my head. I'll work with what I can do after the impact.
He wasn't even really my grandfather, Lisa. I'm just married to Grandma for a while.
Well, he was something to somebody.
And the fact that even, like, it's fucking ambiguous as to what exactly his place in this family was. Everything about this guy is a confusing bundle of mystery.
Found the motel from the photo. Got a lead on this actress, I think, Vivian Lord, her whereabouts.
Wow.
Right, so she's gonna track down this actress lady who might still be alive. Again, if that was a flashback. If she was hitting a Charlie that badly 50 years ago, I guarantee that chick's dead.
Would have been about 35 or so years ago here in Los Angeles.
Now I'm fucking triple confused because the timeline is 35 years ago, so Thaddeus Mobley can't be the old man because he never looked like that in that flashback and then in 35 years turned into the fucking crypt keeper. No offense to that old guy, but you know, guy looked old. If you freeze frame any moment of that granddad's performance throughout this show, it looks like one of them Victorian photos where they've propped up a dead person and opened their eyes manually just to take a photo of them.
I'm 29 years sober. A long time. Before that, I wasn't.
So I guess that was the same woman. Well, it's nice to know she finally kicked the cocaine, because like I said, she'd have been dead by now if she hadn't.
See, he was my stepdad. Sort of. For a time.
Even she doesn't seem to be clear as to how exactly he's related to her.
Where's that?
Sure, well, I'm at the Hollywood Premier Motel. If you change your mind, give me a call.
This woman definitely came across like she knew something, but at the end of the day, I hate to keep using the word confusing, but what is puzzling me so far with this episode, I guess, is we've dedicated a lot of screen time to Thaddeus so far and this guy's whole backstory. What I'm unsure about is exactly as to why, because we know that there is no connection to any of his sci-fi novelist past or any rivals he may have had in the field or any of that shit to him dying. It was just Maurice. So it leads me to believe there has to be some sort of secondary mystery. Like, she's not going to get what she wants. She's not going to find out why he was killed because it's not connected, but she's going to find out something. Do you know what I'm saying? Otherwise, they wouldn't be showing us all this shit. Because at the end of the day, this could all also just lead to her getting to Maurice, but if you think about it, that's the most convoluted route possible just to get round to, oh, it was a guy called Maurice. You know, why all the setup for these novels in the sci-fi world and him getting a producer? That makes no sense to show that unless there's some secondary mystery going on we are just in the dark about at this point.
That fella Thaddeus Mobley lived here in the 1970s?
Right. Yes. No, of course. Yeah, I checked on that. Nothing came up.
Straight away, you have to assume this guy doesn't have the resources that he probably claimed to her he did. He seemed very dismissive that he'd even checked on that name there.
I got a major felon right here. I'm only teasing you though. You don't got teasing in Minnesota?
What an instantly cringe-worthy character. This is that guy that approaches Lady Cop in the bar in the movie. There's been a couple other cringe characters like this in the show. Just wow, what a fucking awkward individual. Again, another scene we didn't need, but Fargo's written like that. Do you know why? Because I was watching a thing on YouTube, it's prefixed with, this is a true story. And sometimes in a true story, a random occurrence does happen that's nothing to do with the story or makes no sense, but it happened. Thus, it's a true story, so you have to tell the thing in it, which is their explanation for the UFO last season.
I'm chief in Eden Valley, or was chief. We're being swallowed by the county, so hierarchy's a little unclear at present.
Right, so that clarifies the conversation we saw in episode 1, because I thought she was kinda chief, but now we know their department's getting swallowed. I guess there's gonna be a battle for who gets to be the chief of all the swallowed departments. She'll be in the running, but not guaranteed the position.
They were always married.
Huh. That's like, I'm my own grandpa.
Is that dialogue a hint to exactly Thaddeus's family tree position? Seems like it might have been.
Look, I'm just gonna cut to the chase here, gorgeous. Am I getting laid tonight or what?
Fucking hell.
Thanks for the beer.
Wow, I hope guys don't exist like that in real life with that lack of self-awareness. I feel bad for any of the women who watch this channel that have ever been approached by a guy just lacking in wit, charm, class, like every category. If he's got a bit of charm, he can get away with being a bit cheekier, but because he's no charm, his cheek just sounds more awkward, do you know what I'm saying? Another W for the box finger. That dude has got an undefeated record. Bet his battery's got to die someday and then it's all one-way traffic from there. What the fuck is going on in her head right now? The main thing will of course be just unsure as to how to get to the bottom of it, but I feel like I'm her character just now. There's all sorts of moving parts going on around her and she just can't make sense of it in her head yet, and that's exactly how I feel.
Orphaned and alone, he traveled the earth as centuries passed, millennia, a being in search of meaning.
This robot's gonna be the deep parable thing this season, innit?
Each century, he would have to stop and recharge. In those hours, he was vulnerable to attack.
Pieces of shit. Also, that's not bad, only having to recharge once per century. You would think you could find a little secluded spot to do it in, though. On one hand, shame on the gang of robot destroyers. On the other hand, my man chose to recharge in an open plane. Anytime I see one of those bells now, I think of that scene in The Sopranos where that dude just gets his head yeeted off the bell about 5 times.
Hi.
I literally thought that was my hearing going, "Thank you, woman, with your weird fucking infinity bell."
The Writers Guild doesn't represent book writers.
Well, that seems like an oversight.
Good point. Why the fuck wouldn't novelists be part of a writers guild? Sort of fucking novelist prejudice do these pricks have? Oh, this'll be the script he wrote for that producer, hence why we saw the flashback. Shit. Now, looking how Howard looked all them years ago, I can't imagine this dude's alive either.
Howard!
Oh, he's hanging in there. He's hanging the fuck in there. Being a big dude that liked his cocaine, this is actually impressive. You haven't aged a day.
He wrote a script for you called The Planet Y, a science fiction film.
I do not know why none of these people remember this guy. Is it because he was so flash in the pan, or literally they're covering up something else?
Let me ask you something. Do you know about science?
To be fair, out of all the robot voices I've heard, that's a pretty decent one. Is this like the most modern version of this thing? I better start checking out models or quit smoking, one of the two.
We're moving through space. Nobody knows where we are.
Guy's dropping knowledge right now.
From his remove, he watched civilizations rise and fall. Hope became despair.
I wish this was an actual book. I would want to read it after seeing these excerpts.
I can help.
Not traditionally seen as a method of help, but, you know, guy's arm might have been pissing him off, I guess.
You should have called, baby. I got company.
You got any coke? Just, I got nothing. They're gonna kick me out of the motel soon and...
So Thaddeus has developed a horrible coke habit, and his girlfriend is also seeing the producer, which was no surprise.
I'm afraid the rather unfortunate fact of the matter is, it's all gone.
See, I thought they were both being very subversive when being asked about this guy, so they brought him into the movie world, put cocaine up his nose, took his idea, made him write the script, and then fucked him for the profits. It wasn't even for the profits, because the producer worded it like, I want you to produce your own motion picture, so they basically made Thaddeus write all the checks for his own thing.
You need to develop a tougher shell, my friend.
Jesus, Howie, just get rid of him already.
No!
I'm surprised people in Hollywood ever got away with shit like this, because this is enough to just make a person just go away and get a gun and just come back and be like, fuck it, I'll do the jail time. You lot have ruined my entire life in the most snaky way possible.
You understand? I don't hear you.
Even physically dominating him. Fucking hell. What a piece of work this guy was. I'm happy he ended up alone and in need of constant medical aid. Oh shit! I wasn't expecting Thaddeus to fuck up the producer.
You're a bad person.
Yeah. Tell her that and leave. Good call. If the producer's a snitch, you're definitely looking at some jail time though.
It's just a story. None of this has anything to do with it.
Is this her realising she's on a wild goose chase? If nothing more comes from this storyline and this is just her realising it was all pointless, I'll be quite dissatisfied with this.
He wasn't so good either.
Oh, that was noble of you to show such self-acceptance before firing a parting shot, you bitch. Not a shot I would expect from a Fargo show. I mean, put the Baywatch theme over that shit, it wouldn't be out of place. The way that shot's framed, it looks like that's her saying goodbye to that lead kind of thing and accepting that was a bit of a dead end.
We, the Federation of United Planets, want to honor you for your service.
Definitely not a metaphor for America, that.
You have been functional for 2.38 million years.
That's fucking impressive.
You have seen the birth of planets, the death of worlds.
Wow, that is actually crazy. He's the oldest sentient being in the universe.
I can help. You have helped, my metal friend.
They're gonna kill him to extract the data, aren't they?
It is time to shut yourself down.
They're actually making me sad over the fucking cartoon robot story. Go fuck yourself, Noah Hawley. This is worse than the end of Terminator 2. Man, that was genuinely like a little Black Mirror episode hidden within a Fargo episode there. Again, these things just stick with me, these little things. These little parables and shit. I'll think about that little story we saw this episode forever now.
You just appear every time a person says Arby's?
Oh, are you guys going for Arby's?
Maybe.
Fuck Arby's. The cartoon robot can't get an Arby's, can it?
That's our man, so out of St. Cloud.
Well, no.
Oh, they've got Maurice. That is a big break in this case.
Some kind of freak accident. The air conditioner fell on him.
An air conditioner? In winter?
That's what I thought.
I was wondering as to whether or not she would find that suspicious, and it's like I said a couple episodes ago, this lady cop is savvy enough that she will follow that trail and it will lead her to Ray and his girlfriend. It's a shame because I love them, but I knew that this cop was good enough that she was going to eventually get to there, and that's where she's getting to now, isn't it, with the AC thing. Okay, and that was episode 3 of season 3 of Fargo, The Law of Non-Contradiction, and I will be back in just a minute with my thoughts on that. So, The Law of Non-Contradiction, what did I think of that? I mean, for some reason, that little robot parable fucking gut punched me, you know. What level does something have to be in its intelligence before it's treated as an equal, you know, and that can be extended to how humans perceive animals, or how humans perceive artificial intelligences, and how other things may perceive humans if they exist out there, which I'm sure they do. And then the reveal of the fact that it had seen all this shit and only ever wanted to help, and it led it to inevitably being the oldest living sentient creature in a known universe, which when you actually think about it is crazy. So the tragedy to take a living sentient thing that had lived that long and experienced all those moments and is a keeper of such sacred knowledge, and then at that point still to just be seen as a resource which is to be stripped of its parts and extracted, it's absolutely fucking tragic. And I guess it's sort of rings symmetrical to episode 1 because, you know, the oldest person I've seen in every single season of Fargo was the stepfather who was killed meaninglessly. And it's kind of the same, you know. He was the keeper of all he had seen. He was the oldest guy, the wisest guy, the guy with knowledge. And for absolutely no reason, he was just stripped of his parts. So I see a symmetry there, but yeah, long story short, for some reason I'll be analysing and thinking about that robot parable for a while yet, and that was such a diatribe, I do apologise, but that just shows you how much that seemingly strangely interlaced cartoon scene cut meant to me. And aside from that, the episode was really curious in that, you know, it played out to the end like she'd exhausted the lead and it was all a red herring, but there's more to that story and they've got to be showing it to us for more than the reason of it led nowhere. Do you know what I'm saying? Even if just now I'm not realising it and a single line one of the two of those characters she met said, like, makes her have a eureka moment later on or something like that, who knows. But I just feel there's got to be more to that than the way they left it. And the other big deal is in the very last scene, I mean, she got Maurice's face, she knows exactly who did it, and on top of that, she knows that the AC thing is incredibly suspect. So I'm guessing next episode we're getting competent lady cops showing up at Ray and his girlfriend's door, and it might get a bit risky for characters we like. I'm hoping they managed to get around this, but this competent lady cop is on point, so I have no idea how they're going to get away with this shit when she starts figuring out it was foul play. And also, when Ray's girlfriend did drop that AC, she went around that shit with a fucking knife first. There'll be like knife scrapings around the AC hole and shit like that, so definite evidence of tampering of its loosening, I would say, could be found at that scene. All in all, what another good episode, even though it went off in a direction I wasn't expecting. We never got any Ewan McGregor this episode, except from a cameo in the astronaut voice, I believe. But yeah, I genuinely found it interesting, but also puzzling. And I cannot wait till we get more of this mystery revealed next week. If you've liked this video, click like, subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this, ring the bell to be notified as to when they drop. If there's anything you want to talk about, comment down below, and share this around to anyone you think might appreciate it or want to watch these reactions along with us. My Patreon link is down in the description. If you become a patron, you get access to my blog, you get access to these reactions I put on YouTube a month and a half in advance, and you also get access to full-length versions of everything I react to. So consider becoming a patron, it helps me and my channel out so much, and until next time, I have been BA, peace.